9:01, and we're calling this meeting to order. We had to verify that we had a sufficient number in our quorum to be able to do so. And we have been approved, so let's move forward. Can we please have a call to order?
Mr. Rowe, Mrs. Robinson.
Present.
Ms. Manoff, Mrs. Lee, Ms. Schwartz.
Here.
And Vice Chairman DeSalt.
Here. I have a note here that both Ms. Manoff and Mrs. Lee have asked for an excused absence for today's meeting. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, fine. All right. Let's start with the approval of the minutes. And I wasn't at the meeting. I've read through the minutes. They look really excellent. So if I could...
I was at the meeting and they look right on target. So I'll make a motion to approve them.
Thanks.
And a second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, so ordered. Minutes are approved. We have on our agenda next public comment. Unless the invisible man is here, I think there is no one to comment, so let's move on. The new business is the election of a new chairman. I did not know for a while and now have been told that Chris Runge has resigned as a member of our commission, and therefore we need to do an election. My question is, do we do an election with only 3 of us?
Yeah, I was going to ask that. I don't think we could.
It's not necessary. You as Vice Chairman can still run the meeting and fill in, and if you want to wait till next month or even after the elections is when of the City Council and their...
Right. Stephanie, I think if we voted on this, would that be sufficient? I
have a question with that, too.
Of course. I'm just reluctant to hold an election
Absolutely.
without everyone here. And since it's only for November and December, and then there would be a new election anyway.
Correct.
Do we want to just bypass the election process altogether? And I don't know, Stephanie, whether we can do that.
Until January.
Until January,
yeah.
I mean, I just think that...
I have another question about that,
Sure, go
too.
ahead.
In our bylines, laws, whatever, it states that one of the commission permanent members has to be, I think I'm saying this correct, a part of the actual, what's the word I'm trying to look, in the field of horticultural, in the field of trees, in the field specifically. I don't know if I'm right about that or I'm wrong, because I mean, I'm not in that field, you're not, Chris was, Carl Zimmerman was, and I'm just wondering how that works as well.
To their best efforts, they'd like one and one from the...
To their best efforts, but it isn't hard and fast.
I think so. I don't think it's definitely required.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that.
I'm looking at the city's code here. Each commission and board shall elect a chair and a vice chair annually from among the regular voting members in attendance at the first meeting. So the question right now is whether we can have this vacancy sit for 2 months, because we're going to have to do this annually, which is January.
Right.
Correct. So it would be 3 months, actually, this meeting, November and December.
You may elect a chair pro tempore from the regular voting members to serve in the absence of the chair and the vice chair, but we have a vice chair present here. If you want to continue with your regular business, I will get you an answer of whether or not we have to.
All right.
I don't think it's something we have to do today, especially with...
Okay, that's fine.
I'll give you a solid answer.
We will temporarily pass on the election of chairman and go to B, which is the Arbor Day Foundation Community Canopy Program. Is somebody here to report on that?
I'll just give you a little brief update. The the Sarasota County Community Canopy Program information that was printed out there, it was an article that was given to us by Ms. Kira Hans, the Assistant City Attorney.
Okay.
And I did some more further research on it and came up and showed that the Arbor Day Foundation is the one that actually does the Community Canopy Program, and I printed out some further information there for you.
Okay.
And how cities are applying for it and things like that, and what it involves.
Oh, okay.
So it's something you might, you guys can research on your own a little bit if somebody wants to follow up and go further with it.
Okay.
I read this and I think it's phenomenal.
Yes.
And I think the one hugest thing is the tree tool to where the people can actually put their address in, because a lot of people might want to plant a tree, but they're like, I don't really know what to do. It's like if you get an animal, I kind of want a dog, but I really don't know what to do. And the tree tool in here is just, it tells you exactly where to put it in your yard, what type of tree, how to, water. I think it's phenomenal. I think totally we should move forward on it. And I also think in conjunction with maybe, and it doesn't have to be in conjunction with, I'm trying to think of his name, Richard Baker, that was here for the Audubon Society at the last meeting, because he's kind of doing that same thing with the
Pelican
county.
Island, yes. Right.
With his 100,000 trees. He's an extraordinary resource, I think, personally, for us. I mean, I'm going to use him.
Okay. Well, certainly, I think that this looks like a wonderful enterprise for us to be involved with. Can I get a volunteer from the three of us to pursue it as something that she is willing to do?
I will, because I'm interested in it, and I'm trying to incorporate it into, I talked with actually the library lady, I finally got touch base with her about doing our first programs there in January, but I don't want to get ahead of that, and I thought that too because of Richard Baker.
Okay.
The one thing that I don't know, and I didn't have time, I didn't take the time to look at it, is how they actually mail the trees to each city member. I thought that was like the most unique. I'm like, really? So they don't even have to come and pick it up, they mail it to them. And I thought that was pretty cool. And I also think too that they did it, this is very good going along with what Chris wanted to start.
Right, exactly.
And also they have, I read through it, where is it, where it says they gave the trees away at the Saturday Green Market.
Yes.
I think that's extraordinary, and they did it also at another, here it is, the Earth Day, and the Farmers Market. So I just think that that's another good idea. I mean, Chris had a great idea with what he wanted to do, and that was kind of our logistics problem. But they've got some good ideas here that might help us out, too.
Well, Cynthia, if you want to follow up on that, that would be, and report back to us next month, that would be really wonderful, because it would not only incorporate, I think, what you've suggested with Chris's ideas, but also with yours, because you've been involved in so many things that, as usual, you want to get involved in 14 million things at one time.
Oh, yeah.
And these all seem to
multitasker.
Yeah, these all seem to coincide, so I think that would be a really great project, and if you could follow up with that, that'd be great.
I will.
Okay, great.
I thought
Thank
that was
you.
your submission, actually.
Oh, really? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, that's Cynthia.
Okay, good.
All right. Wording for the Centennial Tree Plaque. I don't know where we are on that, Rita.
Yeah.
Can you help me?
You gave us an
I did?
example, and Cynthia gave an example
I
of a little different version of
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
I gave your information to Tammy to look at as well. I didn't know if she got with you regarding that, okay? So-
We've been a little bit busy with
Yes, I know.
25 trees, so, okay.
Yeah.
All right, why don't we pass that for today, and we'll put it on the agenda for next week?
Yes.
Next month, rather?
Yeah. If we have time, we have time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if Tammy's got to get back to us, so.
If you guys want to look at it further, if you want to make any other recommendations, that's fine.
Right.
So-
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. The update on the Cultural Arts Village tree plantings. First, I have been told that Barbara Hoffman broke her hip.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
I
and
saw her.
just absolutely horrible. And I have to tell you, between Chris tendering his resignation, and then that information, I mean, my heart just goes out to her, and I feel so badly because we all know what kind of a rehab that is, but you know what, Barbara Hoffman is a tough lady.
She's
She will
got
go
energy
through it.
extraordinary,
Yes.
yeah.
Now, I also did speak with Tammy because I was thinking that it was entirely possible that with Barbara not there or not able to go forward in November, perhaps our project in the Cultural Arts Village could be postponed. Barbara evidently does not want to do that. So we are going to be looking at going forward with it. So under those circumstances, I would ask you, Fran, could you give us an idea of your last meeting and what came out of that? Because in reading the minutes, there seemed to me to be still questions, and I want to make sure that we're all on track in the right place.
I met with Barbara after our meeting, so she had everything pretty much lined out.
Okay?
So November 3rd, and of course now I can't find my notes, at 10 o'clock, she's planning the dedication. The location is a vacant lot it's the corner of 18th Avenue and 19th Street.
Okay.
And if you drive up and down, I mean, you'll know where I'm talking about. She plans to have, she's not going to have a tent set up, but she will have, a podium and several tables set up behind. She has, I forget what his name is, from Wild Time.
No.
Oh, Travis.
From Travis, yes, from Wild Time Catering, who will be there
very
with
good.
drinks and a little snack things. She was hoping to get some music, someone to come and play for like 15 minutes ahead of time from, say, 9:45 to 10, which I thought was a great idea because it kind of, brings
Sure,
attention.
sure.
Yes.
Sure.
And then the way she lined out the program, she would have an American flag. She'd hope to have a centennial flag. Don't know if there is such a thing.
There is no centennial flag, but we do have banners, and I know that she did ask Tammy if they could have some banners there.
Yes. So then she has said, in addition to the banners and the refreshment tables, she said there would be several tables to, if we wished or had information we wanted to provide to the public, that we
Okay.
could put that out there. And I know Cynthia's been working on some, presentations. I didn't know if there was any material available.
Okay.
So,
About this
did give you
specific
all-
one or
about the Tree and Beautification
ourselves?
Commission.
Well, that's what
Copies of that.
I'm trying to do for the
Is it in here?
meeting,
Yeah,
the first
it's the,
meeting, to get it going. I can do that.
Okay,
Copy
so
of
that would be,
the tree dedication program. If you wanted me, you could look through that. I didn't put there's a chairman on there yet, but it's the folded up little flyer.
oh, okay.
Okay. And
Okay.
then there's also attached to it is the program itself, what's involved with it. So I don't know if that's something you want to.
Okay.
Okay, well then, fine, then let's look at this. My first question is, based on what you're telling us, Fran, are the trees going to be there?
Oh, they're planted.
I was going to
Already
say,
planted.
the trees are in. Trees have been in for 2 weeks.
Right.
The last
Yeah.
meeting, Mr. Stickerman was asked to give us a call to let us know when they're going to get planted.
Okay.
The next thing I got is a message saying they're planted.
I went.
Okay.
I went to
I
that
didn't-
planting. They're the ones on 19th.
Yeah, he did not tell us when they were going to be so that I could notify you guys. I apologize.
No, that's okay, because what I see here is from Neil to Chris, the Tree Beautification Commission asked me to update you. We have plans for 10 trees still being reviewed by the Water Sewer Department that have been coordinated with that department, currently under review. The landscaper and trees are on standby waiting for the approval to proceed with the install.
Yeah, that was at the last meeting. They had that
Right.
information, yeah.
So these were installed, Nanette?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah, they're the ones on 19th, right? Yeah,
Yes,
they're nice.
they are very nice.
Yeah, they did a really good job with them.
Hey, I think.
She has pictures, they have pictures and everything. That's odd.
Why?
Because I was there.
Why didn't we know?
I did. I knew. Somebody sent me an email. I went.
Oh, really?
I think there was an email.
Yeah, I went.
Well, I don't remember seeing an email. Well,
I
of
didn't
course they
see an
wouldn't tell
email. I
me.
didn't receive an email.
No.
I did. Well, how did I get one of
Well, the
those?
email I received was from Neil, which I forwarded to you or asked you to help him with the information he needed.
Right, that was
And
after the fact.
That was after the fact.
Right.
That's the only email I got.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how I knew, but I went because
Well, did Barbara send you
You know,
an
I
email
think-
directly?
No,
I
I'll look at my emails and I'll forward
And I don't
it to
think you
Rita.
can really fault the cultural council people. Hayslip just did it when they could.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
They were doing them a favor by,
I
yeah.
wasn't questioning the fault. What I
think
was questioning is why would some members of the commission be told and not all?
Yeah, I'll get the email and I'll forward
okay.
it to you because
Okay.
Barbara was there, Neil was there. There was a bunch of people there. That are,
During the week?
yeah,
during
it was
the week?
like 10 o'clock on a Tuesday. I don't want to lie, something like that. I'll get the email and I'll forward it to you.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
I'm sure, as long as I didn't delete it.
Yeah, I didn't know they were in until after.
They're really nice specimens. They
Okay.
are. Yeah, they are.
They are. I drove
Now-
by there on the way in.
Is there a canopy or is it just on one side?
No, one side.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other side's not going to get planted because of the utilities.
Right, that's what I,
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
what I
Yes,
was under
just
the,
one side.
okay.
And I asked, and I don't want to interrupt you. Okay. I asked about the watering because that's always the
Yes.
elephant in the room.
They're watering.
And they had someone that volunteered with a water truck that did it, so I'm just throwing that out. I
They're
mean,
watering.
Yeah, people come up with the ideas and the guys step forward and good for them. Because that's a huge undertaking to be able to get that too. Yeah, they look excellent, they do.
Yeah, I drove by them on the way to the meeting.
Yeah, they do.
They look very nice.
Okay.
So anyway, back to the
Sorry.
Barbara's ideas. No problem. So she will do a welcome, and then she's asked that a Tree and Beautification Commission member make some remarks. And she had
Okay.
asked for the chair, and I said, well, at this point, you know, Chris has resigned, so
And until our,
I was hesitant to suggest you, Marilyn, because I know you're in like 15 places at once.
well,
However-
I'm happy to report that my 25 trees are delivered and being planted, so I feel very relieved at this point. Yeah, Stephanie.
I think it would be beneficial to wait until after the elections to name a new chair and vice chair. That way you'll have,
And the election should be in November.
as of today, the elections will be held November 6th.
But then the,
November 6th?
is the election, but then they have the organizational meeting.
No. You're talking about city elections. We're talking about this election.
Right, so how many members change when after November?
The membership doesn't change by election. This is an appointed position.
Okay.
So as of January 1st of every year, a chair and vice chair are elected from among the commission members.
Okay.
What we're basically saying, so it doesn't have anything to do with city elections, what we're saying is, since in fact, this is almost the end of October, we have 2 meetings to go, and then in January's meeting,
We'd elect
a
it
new
anyway.
chair and vice chair, or in many cases the same, but would be elected. What what Cynthia and I think Fran and I are asking is, can we leave me in place as vice chair
Yes.
through October, November, and December, rather than not have an election today, then have an election in November? That'll be good for November and December, and then I just think it's a whole lot of work for a whole lot of nothing.
Well, the other thing, too, is if we did elect someone in the next quorum of whole members, most likely in January, it would just be the same people anyway. Most likely.
It could be,
Right.
but the point of it is, to have an election with just 3 of us, I think we all agree.
Oh, we can't
that's
do
crazy.
that. No, we can't do
So,
that.
yeah,
we
that's
can't do
kind of
that.
like hacking the court,
Yeah.
and I don't want to do
I mean, the
that.
next month, if everyone was here.
And if we do it next month, then it's somebody who's the chair 2 months and would have to take over as chair immediately. I think that's crazy. So if we can hold off and everybody is in agreement, and that's what I was asking you, I think that we should at least make a motion for that and vote on it, not because it's hard and fast rule, but just so that we have a record that that's what we decided to do.
The last time you chose a chair was in January?
Yes.
So my recommendation would be that you wait until January to choose
Okay.
a chair.
But I think that the underlying question, or the overlying question, is it's okay for Marilyn to be, acting chair until then.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the question.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
You wanna
yeah.
make a motion?
I will make a motion that we wait to elect the new chair until January 2019, and
Okay.
keep Marilyn as acting chairman, being that she's vice chairman now.
okay.
And I second the motion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carries.
Okay, so then to get back what you're saying, then I am out of town that weekend. I'll actually be in Nebraska. Not at the Arbor Day Foundation, but I won't be here for the, I just thought I'd throw that in there.
You don't have to report where you're going to be. It's okay, we're not the FBI. There are no tree police here.
No tree police. So
Well, I will certainly be there on November 10th, but all members of the commission are invited to attend. Is that not correct? I mean,
Yes, you can be in attendance, just.
right.
watch your
We all
conversations separate.
know sunshine law. We all know that we can discuss a whole lot of things. I always try to refrain from even standing next to somebody
Yeah.
who is a commission member when we are all in public, just because of the perception of impropriety. But I will certainly be there. And Fran, are you the person to carry back all of the information?
Yes,
Okay.
I will
Then-
contact Barbara or
Then tell Barbara or whoever, I will be more than happy to make some remarks. They will be polite and good, I assure you. And I'm sure she doesn't want me to speak very long.
No, she has asked Dr. Richard Baker to actually talk about trees and the importance of the
Okay.
canopy.
Okay, that's good.
And then after Richard speaks, then will be the dedication of the trees. And she did ask if there was a specific dedicatory statement that you should deliver. And of course, I hereby dedicate these trees to.
Sure, okay.
So
That's fine.
if there is something
Well,
specific.
what I will do is, I'll try to put together remarks, get them to you, Rita, so they can go out to all commission members before November 10th, and anybody who has anything to add, subtract, correct, or anything can do it through you. I'm sorry to give you more work, but I just want to make sure everybody is in agreement with whatever it is I'm going to say.
Right.
Okay?
Okay, and so then you want from me a list of what the tree commission does or some of our projects?
That would be,
kind of thing?
yeah, that would be
Okay.
good.
Okay.
And, just to give people a chance, tables with some information, and, it's a good idea area that you're doing starting in January at the library. This will give you a jump
Yeah,
start.
that's a great idea.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And then Barbara will close the program with a few remarks. And after that, they are going to have a walking tour of some of the historic houses in
That's great.
in that area. And she showed me pictures. They've got, they won't go into the houses, but someone, I forget who it is, has done an incredible amount of research on the history of the houses. So it sounded really, really very, very interesting, especially for people who either love the history of Vero Beach or, like myself, new and want to learn more.
Sure.
So, and of course, then that's an opportunity also to see the trees. The Dale McKee has been working with Barbara. She lives in the area. I believe she spoke to the commission a few months ago.
She did.
And so she's working hard, as are many of the residents there. So,
Well,
it's very impressive what they've done.
Oh, it absolutely is, and that was actually why I was, I wanted to speak with Tammy when I heard about Barbara's fall, because Barbara has been absolutely instrumental in spearheading this, and she deserves such a tremendous amount of credit for what she's been able to do. So I am delighted that she wants to be able to go forward, and that's just great. So we will plan on everybody being there on November 10th. November 10th, 10 a.m.
Correct.
18th Avenue and 19th Street,
Yes.
in a vacant lot.
It's a vacant lot. I think it's pretty, there are quite a few trees toward the back
Yeah,
of the
there
lot.
are. There's, yeah. Okay. C, tree giveaway project. Let's see what we have. That was Chris's project. You're going to have to bear with me a little bit, girls and Rita. Ladies, sorry, not girls.
Sounds like my husband.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
I know.
What are we doing with the tree giveaway project?
I think that what Chris said, and in the meeting last month, was that he got away from the voucher and he was going to give the trees at the beautification weekend at the police station or City Hall, I want to say is what it said in the meeting notes, if I remember it right.
Let me look.
And that you're shaking your head, yes. I think that's what it is. So I wonder if we still go forward with the 100 trees, if we have enough information, enough velocity to do it.
All right, here.
I'll try to get as much information from this Sarasota project that we could weave into maybe facilitate ours. I think there's good ideas here.
If I may, I will read from the minutes of 9/20/18. This is page 4. Mr. Runge suggested that they eliminate the voucher completely from the tree giveaway project and make it a first-come, first-served type of program. They will want the vendors to commit to supplying 10 trees each, and they will be given away on the Saturday of the beautification weekend in the parking lot either at the Vero Beach Police Department or City Hall. Any remaining trees can be donated by the vendors to be planted in city parks or on city properties. Ms. Hayes explained that she has size standards she has to follow.
That was you.
Haynes, I beg your pardon. So she does not normally plant small 3-gallon trees on city property. Ms. Schwartz said this new plan takes a lot of the burden off the commission. That was what was said. So, again, Cynthia, are we saying we're going to follow through with that?
Okay, so what I said was reading now this Sarasota County, thank you, Rita, and their logistics, we might, from now to the next meeting, because I've signed on to do more research of this, get from this more logistics to help us. I mean, the first thing I want to know is how they deliver it to the people. I mean, Chris was doing the first come, first serve. I get that, but, is that the best way? I don't know. And the other thing is, how do they do this mapping tool for the people's houses? That might even get more people impressed and involved. I don't know. I don't have enough information.
Okay.
So I'll say I'll do more information, bring it to the November meeting, and then we still have December and January to decide if we're going to do it in February.
Okay.
It's my suggestion.
I don't see, yes, you.
Well, and then, because I had read this a while ago too with the Sarasota. The biggest thing is that right tree, right place.
Well, correct.
I mean, that bottom line,
Right.
barring any other logistics and where we pick them up and
Right.
how we deliver them.
Right.
Making sure that when they are in the hands of the homeowner and the hole is being dug and the tree's going in the ground, that it's going in the right spot.
Well, I think that, go ahead.
And it is the right species. So, in that vein, what trees are you going to want to offer?
Right.
And, some people really, we always tend, and of course we love live oaks, but everybody can't have a live oak in their yard, and everybody doesn't want a live oak in their yard because they don't want the...
I did say that too, I'm with you. Totally.
But so there's, if you can broaden that variety of what you offer so that you can have some smaller dooryard trees and people who have smaller size yards that they can plant them and that they recognize that they can't put them underneath the power lines.
Correct.
They can't put them,
that's the big
they
thing,
can't put them
Next
too
to the
close to their
foundation.
house or they can't put them underneath whatever, so that there is that intelligent planting so that you're not putting something
good
in
word.
that's going to be, I need to have a tree removal permit, 5-10 years down the road. And that's what this program does with,
Correct.
with that.
Correct. That's why I'm so key on it.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you, and I don't want to interrupt you, but I have to say it, otherwise I'll forget. They have here on page 1, because I was like, yeah, when I read it, because I remember having the conversation with Chris going, I get it with the live oaks, I do get it. But it's pretty intense for people that have a quarter of an acre or an eighth of an acre, and they want to facilitate that, but they can't. So here's the list of theirs. 5 species, and I wanted to ask you specifically. 5 species of trees will be offered. Chicksaw plum, crepe myrtle, red maple, chamard oak, and sweet bay magnolia. Now, those aren't ones that I'm necessarily familiar with being the first line of offense here in Vero Beach, so I welcome your input and what other ones that you're suggesting from your own personal expertise that we could use is what I ask.
Well, I'm not going to, I won't just right off the top of my head give you a list. I can work on something.
Yeah.
I know that the Shumard are what I planted along 20th Avenue, and they're not thriving. I wanted to do some different type of oaks, so I did Shumard and Falcata, and they I drive by them and I talk to them, and they're not really listening to me.
Yeah.
And they kind of freak me out because I am a Florida girl, South Florida girl, and I'm not used to things that oaks that are deciduous, and these guys are, and they freak me out because they lose their leaves, and I'm like, are you dead?
Yeah.
And I have to go over and
Right, and we had some that were, too, that you took out.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, so, and they're not thriving.
No.
I know that if I had put a live oak in there, it would be a lot bigger. So,
your best case scenario.
I'm dealing with them, but
Yeah.
if those were sitting in somebody's yard, they'd be like what is this?
Yeah.
You know, because it's not, when we did that grant on
Yeah.
20th Avenue, it's been a while.
Oh, yeah, it's been a
And they
total
really haven't
while.
moved.
No, they
It would
haven't.
be frustrating to a homeowner, so
'Cause I live right there.
I'm not gonna really advocate for the Schumard. I mean, it was kind of a little bit of an experiment too.
Okay, so you have-
Jigsaw plum, I have never planted one in my life, can't tell you about it.
Well, that's why I'm using their list,
Yeah.
and I'm going, okay, so now what's our list? Now, you planted that one. That is my favorite tree in the world. I'm thinking about going over.
The Tipuana?
Love it.
Yeah,
It's
they're
my
beautiful. They're beautiful.
I love it.
They really got messed up during the hurricanes, but a lot of trees do.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Tipuanas are lovely, and you get the flowering.
I love 'em.
Yeah. So they're, I mean, and
But they're bigger. Like this crepe myrtle, I can see that crepe myrtle I like. I mean, it's
Some
not
people-
my,
yeah.
but they're very forgiving and they're amenable and they're.
Well, and there are some crepe myrtles that are more tree-like than others. I have in my yard, I have the nachos, which is the white, and
Okay.
it's a lot bigger, and it holds its leaves a little bit more. Then it doesn't go completely deciduous, so it's not. Really stark.
The ones they did out on 66th going north when they remodeled all that, what do you think?
I haven't been out there.
Okay, well, they're kind of different crepe myrtle ones, and I thought they were pretty unique.
What color are they?
You know what? I knew you were going to ask me that, and I can't remember. I don't want to say yellow. I'm not going to lie to you.
Because all crepe myrtles aren't the same.
Correct. These
they
are different.
Really have a very different growth habit depending on their color. And so, like the nachos, they're very different than all of the purples and the pinks.
This might be what those are, and so I'll take a picture and I'll put it on an email because I noticed that they're way different.
And then we planted that Queen's crepe myrtle out for Arbor Day in McWilliam. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, that tree is really, really cool. It's beautiful.
So I might go around with some of the literature that for the planting with Barbara's and take some of the pictures of those of very successful ones, as are the ones that we did by the cemetery. Phenomenal.
Yeah, and I could. There's a few other trees that I really like that I could add to that list.
I think that you definitely would be the one to say that. Yeah.
And there are everybody has. Well, you have a general list that do good in the area, but then there are little pockets. If you're
Specifics.
over on the beach, you can get away with different things than you can way west too. So-
But that's all literature we can give them to make it more site specific. So they're not. So people aren't like, oh well, I tried. Ugh. I think that's a good point you bring up. Totally.
Okay.
I have a question about
Sure,
the
go
tree
ahead.
giveaway. I was not at the meeting in August, and I know there was discussion about contacting vendors. Did that letter ever go out to specific
Not
events?
to my knowledge.
All right, so
Because it was,
so
the
we
whole
wouldn't.
concept was tabled.
Right. Okay. So postponing
Because we'd
this a
have to
little bit.
bring that back on the whole
Okay.
kind of story.
I have a question that, I'm sorry, is a legal question. Based on what Chris said last month. He said it would be a first come, first serve type of program. So, trying to get my head around it, notwithstanding the fact that the Tree and Beautification Commission is sponsoring the program because vendors are giving the trees and there is no expenditure of tree and beautification funds, then whether or not the recipients of the trees are residents of the City of Vero Beach is immaterial and irrelevant?
No,
That was
I'm
really
not saying that, but
good. That was good.
how are you going to prove whether or not they are residents or
And
not?
that's my point. My point is, our restrictions are very clear. We cannot spend funds to plant or do tree beautification outside of the city. But in this program, we're not spending any funds. So I know of no prohibition based on what I know of the restrictions upon us, of our sponsoring something for a project like this. The question is, does it have to be only city residents? Because if you will recall, that was one of our problems before, how to determine residency. Was it ownership of the house? Well, supposing you rented your house. So was it the tenant? So now we come full circle to a program that I think makes an abundance of sense, but I don't know whether we have the ability to do that as it's being presented now because of our restriction that deals with spending but still deals with the fact that we're a Tree and Beautification Commission of the City of Vero Beach. Nothing more.
Well, your focus will be for city residents and the people that are coming to City Hall to pick up the tree. If somebody is out there to verify that their license confirms that they live within city limits.
So we're saying that, and I think it's important for you to know.
Where I'm listening, yeah.
Hold on, let me finish.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You could have situations where snowbirds have Pennsylvania licenses and can't prove that they live in the city. So now does your commission want to turn away somebody that owns a home in the city but maybe has a license that shows that they own in another state? So that's going to be the stickiness.
No, I don't want to turn anybody away, but I don't want to violate the rules of our commission. That's the Scylla and Charybdis that we have. I understand. There's a variety of things that are normally looked at to establish residency. The problem, of course, is, as you point out, a snowbird may not be a technical resident of the City of Vero Beach. This may be a winter home. They may vote in Pennsylvania. So their license will say Pennsylvania. The ownership records, which is in title, may very well be a way to establish it. But the amount of time that it would take, never mind what they can prove, the time that it would take to establish whether or not they're a resident is mind-boggling.
Well, I wonder if you just opened up actually the answer by saying that since we're not expending any funds, really what kind of restrictions do we now have? So if we can just say we're going to give it with the City of Commission is going to reach out to the citizens of the City of Vero Beach and the county, these are the 100 trees, and leave it at that if the nurseries are donating them. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Well, what I'm basically saying is this. We know that if we bought 100 trees, the commission bought 100 trees. We used our money to buy 100 trees, and we said we're going to give 100 trees out on a first-come, first-served basis to the residents of the City of Vero Beach. And there was an easy way to prove residency. We're perfectly within the bounds of our commission's charter. But if we are going beyond that, even if we are not expending funds, we're still a city commission. So the real question is, can a city commission sponsor something that is not city-centric?
We're not saying it's not city-centric, but we could spend all day arguing about every little nitpicking detail here. Let's focus on the fact that this is a city program from a city commission for the city residents on city property or within the bounds of the city limits. Your enforceability, it's going to just be impossible.
Right. So just do the best you can and give the trees out.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Focus on that. Because once you start getting into the nitty-gritty here, your program's going to implode.
Right. Yeah. And I understand all of that. But what I don't want to find after we put the time and energy into this for February, that in fact somebody comes forward and says, you can't do that because you can't verify that they're city residents.
I get what you're saying.
You know, when I envisioned the trees for the students, We went to the superintendent of schools. We went to the city council. We got permission to do this because we were, in fact, part of the Centennial Committee, but we wanted the trees to be throughout the entire Indian River County. So I understand what you're saying, and my concern is I don't want Cynthia and Fran and anybody else to put the time and energy that something like this takes. The 25 trees for 25 schools took 18 months. And, you know, I just don't, I want to make absolutely certain that everybody is aware of what the program is, and so I guess the question is, do we have to go before the city council and say, okay, this is what we want to do we have your blessing? If we've got your blessing, we're fine.
Yes, you do have to go before the city council.
Okay.
That is part of your time, where your time crunch is going to end up here.
Right.
But if we present the city council with the program and the concept, and I think that they would probably want some information about the vendors that are interested. So maybe sooner rather than later, we get that letter out to the vendors so that we can drum up some interest here to sell to the city council.
Great, okay, so, Cynthia, you know your project.
Say it again.
Well, no, what you're looking at doing is doing the research,
Right.
coming back in
Oh, right.
November.
Yeah.
And by November, we should have better information. Nanette will work with you with respect to the trees. We should have better information. I think we need to go before the city council in December rather than January.
Well, correct, as long as we, yep.
So that we make sure that we've got this group of vendors in place and everybody is in place over here. So if you want to take the responsibility to do that, work with Fran, that'd be great.
I'll do the work, but I'm going to throw this out as well, too, and not to keep beating their dog, because they seem to have a program that does work. They do theirs in the Arbor Day, which gives us until April. So we don't necessarily have to do it in February. I'm just throwing that against the wall, too.
Okay.
Not to keep us on a...
your goal originally was the beautification weekend.
Which is February,
Right.
so that only
Right.
gives us a couple of months, but I'm just saying, they do
Right.
theirs Arbor Day. I mean,
But
if you want to do it in conjunction with some kind of...
I think Stephanie's
And/or
point
birthday
was
as
that,
well.
Right.
that we
Yeah.
wanted to, again, enhance what we
Okay.
do on the beautification
Okay.
weekend. Okay,
Okay.
all right.
I will. I'll go as fast as I can.
Okay. Update on the 100th anniversary. All right. All of the trees were delivered on Monday. The trees are absolutely gorgeous. They are 8 to 9 feet tall. They have a diameter of about 3 feet. They looked fabulous. They came in to the complex over behind Storm Grove, which is where all of the real stuff goes on. And they were unloaded, and the superintendent's office, Jason Caldwell, who was part of John Teska's team, were just fabulous. Tuesday, I was there to distribute the trees to the 2 charter and 6 private schools that are my schools. And all of the trees were picked up, and where everybody has their tree, everybody has their planting instructions, everybody has their care instructions, and I was asked, and I did remind everyone to water, water, water. The trees will all be planted by the end of the week. The plaques are being mounted now. Those are the plaques. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, Nanette.
And you have a list for me of those different school locations, right?
I do.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay, the plaque
I love, see, we should, when they said flags before, I think that would be totally cool to have that.
Yeah.
Their time?
I don't know. Bring it up. Ask somebody. The plaque says, City of Vero Beach. It has the logo for the City of Vero Beach. 1919 Centennial 100 Years 2019, and it states, honoring the citizens who made Vero Beach successful and pledge to continue their legacy. These are being mounted, and so the question that I have, thanks Nanette for this, I'm sorry. I understand that 17 are being delivered to Jason, or Jason's going to pick up 17 for the 17 public schools, or you don't know?
I don't know, I don't know anything about that.
Okay. I asked Tammy this morning, how do the mounted plaques get to my 8 schools? Do we know that?
Well, I was, in my head, because nobody had said anything to us other than we were assuming that I was going to get the list from you and we were going to distribute them all.
Okay. That's great. Thank
I was
you.
going to call Jason and see if there was a centralized. I was going to call Jason and see if there was a centralized location
Right.
for any of them, so that they didn't have to go to 25 different locations. But other than that, that's what we're prepared to do.
Well, what I would think is for Jason with the 17 schools, the public schools, I would think that somebody from the public schools, because they have staff,
Right.
could go to Jason and pick them up, or even come to you to pick them up. I mean, my schools don't have that level of staff.
Right.
So
I'll contact him for those schools.
for the 17 public schools, yes. And this that I'm looking at here, that's 4B, is this the list, Rita? Because this isn't the most recent list.
That's what I was going to ask him, if it is the most
There's
recent.
another one that I emailed to y'all.
Okay? Because I know
You have
10...
two stacks
I
of
don't have one, do you?
packets. One's from last month's meeting and one's from this month's meeting.
So that's from last month's, okay. This is this month's.
That would make it a lot easier.
Oh, is this it?
Rita emailed it out Friday.
And you printed it?
Yes.
I don't know
Oh, I
if
don't have it.
I know I have a copy of it here. I'm just going to find it. So.
Because it has the commission member
Okay.
and the council member. as well.
May I see that, Fran?
Yeah,
Because
I
it's
can't
not,
see that.
it's not in this packet.
Yeah. I don't
Okay.
have that. I don't remember that.
All
It
right.
wasn't part of the agenda. I just emailed you all.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Oh, look, maybe
Because
I
I want to
lost it.
give this to Cynthia, because Cynthia's looking for my schools. You're not looking for...
Nanette. Whatever.
I knew what she meant.
I'm reading.
I was just going to hand
I'm
it to you. I
reading
knew what she
Cynthia
meant.
as I'm talking to you.
I can email it to Nanette so she can.
No, I get, we can, okay, if you would,
Doesn't
yeah.
matter.
All right, this is our schedule, final, please, God, schedule.
It's fine.
Okay.
It's all fine.
It tells you all where you're supposed to be when.
Correct.
On Monday, just so that you have an idea of what Monday is going to be, what this next week is going to be like. And if you have a skateboard and you know how to use it, I would strongly recommend it. Okay. We start at 8:45 with Indian River Academy. We have Tabernacle Christian at 11. And St. Helens at, and I'm reading just the private and charter schools, at 12:30. Now, I am on for those three. Fran, you are on for Oslo Middle at 10:15, yes?
Yes, and Vero Beach Elementary at 8:45. Monday.
Yes. Okay. The 23rd is Fran at Glendale Elementary.
Right.
Fran at Rosewood Magnet. Me at Indian River Charter at 11, and at Imagine Charter at 12:30. Wednesday, Cynthia, Freshman Learning Center, 8:45. Me, Citrus Elementary at 9:30, Willow School at 10:15, and Masters at 11. Thursday, Fran, Technical Center at 8:45. Cynthia, Dodgertown, 10:15. Cynthia, Gifford at 11. Me at St. Ed's, 12:30.
And then Barbara comes back Friday.
Barbara, yeah, I've got Barbara down for Liberty Magnet and for Storm Grove and for J.A. Thompson, and I'm at Glendale Christian at 11, and then Vero Beach High at 12:30.
Yeah, and I have Osceola on Monday, too. I have Osceola.
I beg your pardon, yes, you do, I'm sorry. Yes, you have.
And so Ellie is still gone.
Okay.
Correct, I have not.
Correct.
I've sent her this information and asked her to
Okay.
reply. but
Just
I have
what I was
not
just
heard from her,
wondering.
so
Okay.
I knew she was going to be out September and October.
Okay. And I'm also very pleased to thank you for this. This is your copy?
Yes.
Okay.
And I gave Nanette the copy I had in here.
Thank
but-
you, thank you. So Nanette, those are, all of the private schools are ours. And let me read them off to you so you've got them. Indian River Academy, Tabernacle Christian, St. Helens, Indian River Charter High, Imagine Charter, Willow School, Masters Academy, St. Edward's, and Glendale Christian.
Do we have addresses for any of these? I mean, where's Masters Academy?
Masters Academy's on 58th Avenue.
Oh, that's the
Right.
one on 58.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. I was trying to think where it was, too. Yeah.
Right. So those are, so if you guys could get those plaques to those folks, that would be wonderful. Now, I can give you, if you give me your email, I can give you the people to see.
Right, that's what I was going to ask, because we can't just leave them
Right.
at the front door.
Well, no,
Bring it around,
but,
yeah.
you know, I mean, let me see if I can remember. So I've got everybody's name.
Marilyn, this is your copy now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's see, we've got Indian River Academy, I don't remember. St. Helens is Laura Lewis, I believe. You know what, I'm not going to do it that way. I will email you. Give me your email.
Ann Haynes at covb.org.
I might have your email.
Yeah.
Let me just check.
It's CC'd on some of them, I know it is.
And I'll just give you the
Okay.
names of the people that I've been dealing with all this time.
And the other ones that aren't colored are the public schools that hopefully Jason can help with.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
think that,
Yes, all you smell in the compound is wood.
Haynes at covb.org.
Yeah.
Okay, I will get that out to you.
They're routing out the things like crazy. That's all you smell is sawdust.
I do have a question for you, Nanette. As far as, I was at Vero Beach Elementary yesterday and saw because it's my school, the tree. And so I went in to, Mrs. Emerson was not there, and I was trying to find out where they were going to plant it because it was situated in an odd place.
Right.
And someone of the staff showed me where they were going to plant it. Now, I know live oaks get huge, and I'm not I was just curious about what kind of guidelines or advice was given, because, it's like, is that really a big enough area? So I wondered about that as far as.
Well, Becker Tree Farm, at my request, sent planting instructions as well as care instructions, which also included information with respect to the size of the tree, etc. And those were delivered by email by me to all of my schools. I don't know what was delivered to the public schools, but I would assume, since the folks coming out of Jason's organization were delivering the trees, I would think that they would have been able to determine where the best place was to plant the tree, or if a site had been selected, because in each case, Jason's people are delivering the tree to, I'm assuming, the site where it is going to be planted. So it's a really good question.
So I thought.
But they've known, everybody has known for 18 months that they were 30-gallon live oaks. So I don't know what else we could have done besides telling them what the tree was.
Well, who was the one that, so you said you sent the information to your school, so I'm just wondering why that information wasn't sent to every school.
It was sent to every school.
Okay.
I
And the other
sent
thing,
it to Jason for his distribution, and also to all of my 8 schools.
okay. And so did each one, and I'm sure this question came up before, in the previous 18 months, of who was going to be in charge, per se, where each tree in each school was planted.
The principal was in charge.
The principal was in charge.
Principal was in charge with respect to every school.
Okay, because I remember us talking about
Yeah,
that. Okay.
principal was in charge, and the assumption was that the principal would discuss with the appropriate powers that be where to plant the tree. That's why we were specific from the beginning as to what kind of a tree it was, so we gave people ample notice of, this is the tree, and this tree is going to be a big tree. Now, from what I can see of the plantings in the public schools and in many of these private schools, I can't believe that these folks don't know where to plant the tree. But
so I'm going to back up and say, okay, so what do you exactly mean by that? Do you think that they don't know where to plant the tree? And Nanette, have you had any input from people asking you your?
Why would they?
They wouldn't go.
Well, I mean, who would they call then?
I don't know.
Well, they would call
They would-
arborists, they would call they're getting a $500 to $600 tree for free, whether they're public schools or private schools.
And I don't mean to put it on Nanette, I'm just
No,
asking
it's
if
not on
anyone.
Nanette. Nanette doesn't have anything to do with it.
I've been here how many years? I've never spoken to anybody in the school board.
So
They wouldn't call me.
as I parked over on the street over here, and as I walked by, I looked at the very large live oaks and kind of walked off the distance between them. And one of the things I was wondering about, at Vero Beach Elementary, there's a circular courtyard. Of course, concrete all around. At what point do roots damage the concrete? All those kinds of things that, the city deals with the sidewalks, levels them out. But, those are kinds of things that you might not think about with a tree that's got this big a. But later on, it's only, the caliper's 3 inches, 4 inches? I mean.
But I guess, Fran, the point is that
they're supposed to know.
These are educators. They have been given all of the information. I cannot fathom that they wouldn't know and have done the research as to what to do. And if you saw that where they selected wasn't a good spot, Did you say anything?
Well, Mrs. Emerson was not there.
Mrs.
Yes,
Emerson is
she's the principal. And I did speak to one of the staff members, and she said when the gentleman who delivered the tree brought it in, he said, "This will be a big tree."
Yeah,
And I know that it's just, you know.
I have what was the name you said before, Nanette, of the people, the company that planted the trees just now on 19th Avenue for the village?
Hayslip.
Hayslip. Okay, so when I was there, Hayslip, when they planted it, to answer your question about the roots, because I didn't know this and you know this, they put down barriers, and I'm not going to think of the name of it. I know that.
Root berries, because we told them to.
So there you go. They put them when they planted the tree, when they went along the sidewalk and they went along the road, because I said, what
Which is kind of overkill for a Simpson stopper, but we wanted to make extra special sure in that location because there was so much stuff down there that the roots went down, not out.
Because as they were planting it down along the sidewalk closer to 20th, there was actually someone there that was sanding down the cement for, and I said, you know what, bingo, that's, talk about thinking ahead. So these trees that we're planting, and you're saying that it's in the circle of Vero Beach Elementary, so who's going to be the people that actually do it? Hayslip knew all that stuff.
Well, because that's what we put on the plans, we spec'd it to have the root berry.
Okay, so that's why I'm throwing that out there. So I wonder if anyone knows all of this stuff to put on the specs of these trees that we're planting now, and let's hope we're planting in the right spot.
How far away are they planting them from cement?
Well, I'm not totally sure because this, again, it was a staff member, and she said kind of there, and I don't know, 10 feet, 12 feet?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, see, that's
and
what I'm saying.
And there are already
so
some,
who
you know,
knows
fair
this?
side. Plus, I saw the irrigation, you know, the box, it's sunken, so who knows where all the irrigation lines are. I mean,
But again, Fran, that's not our job.
Yeah.
I know, but it's...
No, but the point of it is, that's
Right,
not our
right,
job.
yeah.
For 18 months, these
They've had-
folks have known what they are going to get, and we have to rely on the fact that they are using their research tools, their ties to everyone who, I mean, they plant trees on public schools daily. So I've got to believe that they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I don't know that
I
they
don't
do.
know what else we could, we can't possibly, I mean, this commission can't do anything with any schools. And moreover, again, they have the information. I just don't know what more we could do.
Okay.
Okay? Treasury report.
There was no change in the reports from last month.
Okay. Chairman's matters, I think we've covered most of the chairman's matters. Personally, I would like, when we are at full force, hopefully next month, I'd like to do something in honor of Chris, to thank Chris for his leadership. He has been just an outstanding chair of this commission, and I believe he has pushed us to become more and more involved within our community, if not beyond the borders of it. So I would like to have on the agenda, Rita, next month, something so that we can talk about what we would like to do to honor Chris for his service. My other matter is, and I don't know whether this should be saved again for next month. This is the ordinance that Stephanie drew up.
Yes, anything that's underlined is what's been added in
Okay,
specifically to your requests.
right?
If if you're okay with it, we can tell her to go with it. It'll be presented to City Council, of course.
Right. Well,
If you want to
again,
make changes.
yeah, one, Stephanie obviously had to leave because she must have had another
prior
meeting.
Yes.
Number two, there's only 3 of us here. My suggestion would be that we table this again for next month's meeting, where, let's see if we have an opportunity to really read it very thoroughly, look at what we had intended, and then be prepared to discuss it next month.
That's fine. I didn't get it in time to send out with the agenda.
No, that's fine. It's fine. I just don't, first of all, the author of the changes isn't here, so, it would be silly, and there's only 3 of us, so I really think that that's what we ought to do.
Did you have any comments on that one, Annette?
My comments are in there.
Okay.
Okay, good.
I'm half author.
Oh, are you? Well, I'm very.
Well, she sent it to me before she,
Sent it to me.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, before I got it. They worked on it together.
That's great. That's great. No, I'm I'm sincere about that. I am, because lawyers writing and people who have to implement writing are 2 different things.
When she sent it to me, I said, what are you trying to say here? It's 2 legalese.
Right. No, but it's important because, it's taking up Fran's point.
Yeah.
Do they know? Well, you know what? We're the tree commission, we're not their mothers.
Yeah.
Well, the other side, though, is we're expending a lot of energy and money and all that,
Well,
so don't we want to do it right the first time, is what the first thing comes to my head. And any input we can possibly give anyone without telling people exactly what to do, I think is
Well, unfortunately,
I can watch over my.
I took the position that these are very bright people and that they will know what they're doing. That's all I have. Members?
I do. I have a couple. I want to get back to, and I should have said it and I didn't think about it, so when we go to our each dedication, specifically at each school, is there any one kind of message that we want to give from the tree commission?
I don't think so.
Just throwing that out there.
I personally think that for us, as the Tree and Beautification Commission, and especially for me, this was something I envisioned in 2015. Certainly, the commission stood behind it, and I see it as the culmination of what we wanted to do, what we went to the city council and asked permission to do, and what we followed up to bring about what we really thought was important, and that was that the children are our future, so if we're going to celebrate 100 years past, let's celebrate and start the celebration with the next 100 years future.
So they're the beginning of the 100 years forward?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a good message.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad you said that.
Okay.
Okay, so the other one that I have, the muralist that we talked about at the last
Yes.
meeting, okay, he has respectfully declined. So he's the one that came forward to me, and then no, that's okay, because I also have on, which was my backup plan B, C, Q, whatever you want to call it, is the Arts Club in Vero, who have wanted to do it too as well. And I also want to say thank you to Nanette and your crew, because they did go over there, and it wasn't because of mine. I know that they did it in their groundskeeping, did a phenomenal job to weed whack and whatever in case he was going to do it. I mean, it looks perfect. Anybody could go up and do it now, so I thank you for doing that. I mean, was huge, and it was in time. So we'll go to Plan B and C on that one. So I am talking with Rosemary about that, and they want to go forward with it too, as well as they want to go forward to that idea with the tile wall, but that's, for maybe a year or whatever to come. The second thing is I just want to reiterate about the library program. I did talk with Jessica Matthews, who is the head of those programs at the library. I said January. She said the days that they're open late, which is Monday and Thursday, so the meeting would be one of those days, probably at 6 o'clock for about an hour, 6 to 7 p.m. I did say that I wanted to give away 3 trees. We had that discussion at the last meeting. I can't do that with our funds. So Dr. Richard Baker said, listen, I have 100,000 trees. I'll give you as many as you want if you want to give them away to the meeting. And she was just enamored to do that. So the dates, and I'm just throwing them out, are the 3rd, the 10th, the 14th, the 28th, and the 31st that are available. So if anyone has any idea of which one would be better than the other, I just thought it was a good idea to start in January and give me time to do it. It's
Absolutely.
the new year. Dr. Baker has his own Audubon Society meeting. It's a huge meeting. Apparently they had 350 people at the last one that they did. And I know that's how I got the idea for this library meeting. I went to one that the UF Extension Service did about mulching, different things, and there were like 40 people there. I couldn't believe, and that's why I'm like, ding, 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 this might be a good place for the tree commission. And she said, absolutely. And you know what? I have no clue what the tree commission is. And I said, that's why we're doing this. And I said, you know, the signs that are on the streets that say, you know, Tree City USA 32 years, she said, I always wondered what those signs were for. And I went, that's why we're doing this. Because the word has to, you know, we want to get the word out. And it's a big deal. And so his meeting is February 2nd. I'm just throwing that out. I'm going to contact him to see if he'll get involved. I'm also going to contact the one, who's the gentleman that comes to the Arbor Day one that's with the, I can picture him, I can't think of his name.
Forester.
The Forester. Those people, because only one of us can be at these meetings at a time. I can't remember.
I can't.
Yeah, but I'll get it. And so I didn't...
I have his contact information.
Correct. I figured that you would. So one of those people, I said to her probably to start out with, I would do it quarterly. It wouldn't be monthly, it would be quarterly to kind of keep up with the seasons and come along with topics and that idea. I want to get into pruning and, you know, whatever. This mapping tool, again, to go back to that, is just phenomenal for people. And then if any other commission member wants to lead a meeting, it went any of the other months.
I see the library in your future as well.
Not in the evening.
Yeah, Nanette respectfully declined.
Nanette's sleeping and
At 6 p.m. It's okay.
Nanette gets up at 3:20 every morning.
We'll figure it out. We'll just throw it against the wall and we'll see what sticks.
You write it, I'll deliver it, how's that?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it. It's only an hour. I mean, give me the info, I can figure it out, and, you know.
Another resource for you might be the Master Gardeners, because they are doing,
There you go.
they're doing programs, the Florida Friendly Gardening. They're starting like next week, or they may have already started, at 2 of the libraries, I forget which ones, but I know they're going to start at the main library, I believe in January. But pruning, all those different topics they cover. So if you need some more information,
I think it'll work out.
Yeah.
Nanette, you're off the hook. I think it'll work out. Yeah. So I think that's a good deal. The other thing I thought of driving here, and I don't know if this is under this or not.
I think this is number Z on her list.
See, and the other one will be quick. The other 2 will be quick, because one we already did. Dr. Baker is the county. Vero Beach is a tree city. Do any of us know if is Sebastian a tree city as well? Is Fellsmere a tree city?
I don't
Is
think so.
Wabasso a tree city?
I don't think so.
I wonder if we can pro-offer, talk with them,
Yeah.
to try to instigate them being a tree city as well. I don't know what our input could be for that, but I'm just thinking, you know, maybe we could help them along. Fellsmere is on board with everything, that they're trying to really be progressive, and he said the same thing too. So I'm just throwing that out there. Just, you know, it's maybe something we can
Well, I know
work on
that-
in 2019 or...
Yeah, one of the conditions to be a tree city is you have to have a
board.
A board, yeah.
Right. You have to have a board. It doesn't state how many members, because there's only 4 stipulations.
Doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a huge hurdle.
Yeah.
You know, you have the spending that you have to do. I can't remember how much it is per capita. And then you have to have a tree board.
Yeah.
And do they do any of them?
That's why I brought it up. I thought that coming here, and I'm like, I wonder if they do.
I don't know.
I'm going to approach him. I mean, I think I can approach them or something. I think he's a good resource, this Dr. Baker, because he's gung-ho.
I believe
be
he
like
lives in Sebastian.
Yeah, and be like a sister, brother kind of, I don't know. I don't even know if we have to be involved, but I just thought about that. I want to re-mention the Tree City Online USA, the treecity.org thing, if anyone's, I mean, I've done a little bit of it. I wanted to do more. I'm just throwing that back out. I don't know if you're interested or you know or any of that. I did this one already. And this is another thing. This is a very obscure topic. I know mine never are, but I'm going to put this out there. When they were just decimated by that hurricane Category 4 in Mexico Beach, I mean, God love them. Many of the stories that come out of it is how the trees are completely decimated, okay?
Yes.
I'm wondering if there's some way we could start, I don't know if it's in Vero Beach, I don't know if it's our commission, some kind of collective program to put together donations of trees for all of these cities, maybe start with Houston, I don't know how many trees they lost. Whatever happens is an outreach to replant these trees, because there's thousands of them that just have been obliterated. Now, some people could be, I don't want a tree in my yard anymore, that's the thing that fell on my house and ruined it. I mean, I get those stories too, but it's just a seed that's in my head throwing out there. If there's anything that any of us can do in the commission or in the context of how we like trees and whatever, to think about something to do in 2019, 2020, because the hurricanes aren't going to go away. The tree destruction is not going to go away. I know that different programs that cities themselves have, is one way to do it. I don't know how to do it. It's just an idea.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it, I'm done.
Okay. Fran?
I'm good.
Okay. Our next meeting date is November 15th. And we certainly have, or at least I have, a great deal of reading to do before then. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Rita. Thank you, Nanette.
Nanette, thank you.